waste, mattresses, white goods, those type of things. Leaf and yard waste, it'll be on a significantly reduced schedule, so it will not be open regularly. It'll be open regularly, but many fewer hours. And we're trying to get our arms around what that looks like. That's the game plan at the moment. The idea is to maintain transfer station operations here on Locust Street. And and like I said, so over at Glendale, we won't be collecting the bags. The only place you'll be able to do bag disposal is here, once this transition happens. We're looking to settle on a specific date that the landfill would close. That hasn't been determined yet, but it will be sometime in the spring, late spring. And the other piece is the pricing that we will be going out. We've decided to keep the permit fee at $25 and then to increase the cost per bag. So I think the bags will go up 50%. So dollar bags will be $1.50, and that's where we're headed to. The other conversation we've had is we want to open up the transfer station here at Locust Street to small businesses, so that whatever they can bring in their bags, they can dispose of. They buy bags and do it just like a residence, and also hopefully giving them a avenue to be able to do their recycling also. So that's it. Essentially, this will be the transfer station here on Locust Street. Glendale will be able to manage waste on a reduced schedule, and refill it from there. And like I said, at a date to be determined sometime next spring. We're trying to figure out when the landfill will actually close down operations. Okay. Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, Karen.
Sorry I'm late. I got behind a skidder on 91.
Well,
So
driving is miserable.
You must have had a heck of a drive.
No, well, it just was slow because everybody had to, look.
All right. Did you want to add in anything in terms of the Board of Public Works discussion last week? I was just giving them sort of the brief outline.
I think you got it all.
Yeah. The composting operation will stay here. We'll
And
continue.
everyone will have access to it.
Yes, and we'll continue to have a means-based permit. Permit fee will stay at $25, and the bag price will increase.
Everyone meaning small businesses for composting as well?
So anyone who has a permit.
We got to sort out figuring out how we do a permit for businesses, because we don't have one right now for the transfer station. But that doesn't feel like it'd be heavy lifting.
No, it's just that they have a Northampton address.
The business has a Northampton address.
Mhm.
Yep.
And they're willing to use the system as it exists.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. I have to leave at 9:30, so
Okay.
I was going to suggest that we sort of move on to we can talk about the January 5th and the March 9th piece. I wanted to talk a little bit about the ReUse Center. I saw on the agenda that we had plans to go over and look at a building here. It's my understanding that that building is not available for us. And I think you had a conversation with Ned and Jim yesterday. And
Actually, so do you want to take that out of order?
yeah, you
Okay.
might want to.
Well, so Peter and I have been looking at it and talking to people, but yesterday Ned brought some new information to me, which was an evaluation from Central Services that they had looked at the building.
What is Central Service?
It's kind of the facilities
Facilities manager for city
department.
property.
So all the facilities, including the schools.
That's what's his name is in charge of. Michael.
David Pomerantz is the director. And they had looked at this building and had estimated that the repairs to make it suitable for storage was between $25,000 and $28,000. And Peter, has been doing his own evaluation, and he thought the roof was going to cost like $3,200.
$3,300 just for the metal right now.
Yeah. So, I think that well, and he also explained that because of the plans for the DPW building construction and all that, it's kind of on hold in some ways. It's not going to happen for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But that building would definitely be going in that. But right now there's no money to demolish it, there's no money to fix it, there's no money to do anything. But I think that we probably should take a walk over there this morning because I think there might be other options, and we've never really just looked at what exists and what could possibly be. For example, the attendance shed is in the building, and we might look at if we could move the shed out of the building, if we could have that bay for reuse. Just think some possibilities. I think the vacant building that we were going to look at probably has been taken off the table because of the expense of renovating it. But Peter,
I don't know how these numbers come up. When they have a $21 million building going up to put offices in. I don't get it anymore. $8 million elementary school that replaces one 40 years ago in Hatfield, and we're paying for it. So right now, it needs a roof. That's the main thing wrong with it. You just need to strip off the old asphalt. Some decking needs to be repaired. That's for nothing, because I've got plenty of decking material in my barn you can use for nothing. All of the joists are absolutely straight and in line. I'll point that out to you. It's so overbuilt that Amherst Farmers Supply, who sells this stuff, said they did a similar one for the Sunderland DPW, 130 feet long, the roof. And he said in the 130 feet, the thing was out 1.5 inches. I defy you to find anything in the entire floor that's out of line, including nearly all of the roof joists. Rafters. They may need to be doubled up, something like that. With some help on the labor, I think the materials come out at about $5,000-6,000 at most. This is not, I don't know where these numbers come.
Peter, this facility is under the control of the Board of Public Works, and there has not for a while been support at the head for more operations on this site. Is already considered overused. There are buildings in the back that are not working.
Whatever they've decided in the past doesn't matter, because we're in a new situation. The landfill's closing, so this site is already familiar to people as a recycling site. That can be enormously enhanced, I believe, by especially taking a building that might cost $75,000 to knock down with you've got to use what's that thing called?
wrecking ball.
You've got a wrecking ball. That is a perfectly fine building. For a reuse committee not to be able to renovate and reuse a perfectly fine building which just needs a little renovation would be a slap in the face.
Well, I would like to suggest that rather than, I think it's not just the building itself. I
No,
think
it's
the
the
operation.
politics.
It's the operations on this site that are it's too busy.
Traffic.
There's too much traffic. There's too much and we right now with our barns closed down, we have a lot of the stuff that's not being parked in the barns because they can't be parked in the barns. So there's too many operations happening here. I think that what we see here, what I'm optimistic about is that the Glendale site is going to stay open. And yes, it's located away from the transfer station here, but it has a history of being used for difficult to manage waste. And I think we have an opportunity here with it changing to refocus and look at using that facility as a reuse operation rather than trying to put something else here that simply, quite honestly, is probably not going to happen until we.
Well, why is it probably not going to happen? That's what I can't agree with, because our focus has been to go lobby the mayor, go lobby the Terry.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Ned Healy before. This was
Terry?
a week ago.
Terry Masterson.
Masterson.
Oh,
Who's the new
Yeah.
development.
That it's a jobs thing, and what Jessica sent me from this meeting with Lynn from Clean Water showed that by having reuse it produces jobs, et cetera, et cetera. This is the perfect facility. It's a great building, and I don't see what the traffic problem is, because it would be managed within the context of any other day of the week. There might have to be an attendant there for whenever that building is open, so it'd have limited access, especially from the front. You don't need to,
Actually, we had never proposed that it would be open during the week. It would only be open on Sundays.
Yeah.
That was kind of the
Well, we have
proposal.
been over, and we actually did a walk around behind the existing reuse barn, recycling barn, last year with Ro was there and Rich was there. There were a number of us who were out there, and it was determined.
Let's go I want to show you what a good building this is, to get you on our side here for this, because
Well, actually, I have gotten the word from Ned that it's a no-go.
totally.
And that actually, I have to say that when I first talked to him, that wasn't really the case. I mean, he was
Yeah.
saying that, it was scheduled for demolition. They didn't have money to renovate it. But he didn't give me a red light on it. But, since we developed a real interest in it, it changed. It did.
Well, last
So
thing he said,
now it's a no-go. It's just kind of the same as the Florence Community Center, that at one point we thought we had access to 2 classrooms, and then it changed. That's what happened again.
because he said, just make a good proposal.
That's what he said to you.
Right. Bring me a good proposal, and that's what I had hoped we would resolve today, to renovate, some wording that we would resolve as the reuse committee, to renovate that building, for the city, for the powers. It's worth a fight, this is a
Well,
great building.
But I have consistently heard from.
Yeah.
I've consistently heard that a new expanded use of reuse on this site is not going to happen.
I think of it as much as part of a transfer station, where at least we've got 1,800 feet to start with, where there can be a styrofoam compact or whatever I don't know what you guys have planned for this center for the last 10 years, that's what I thought we had to put into a proposal. All the things that had been planned, what this reuse center was going to do. But you go somewhere else, even if it's the dump. I think a lot of people probably use this much in preference if they're in town than driving out to Glendale. So you've already got a store with the built-in audience used to using it. To go somewhere else now to try and do sort of a mirror image of the same thing, to me doesn't make sense, not as efficient. And as I'm looking what Boston, just glancing what Boston wants to do, they're talking a resource center, exactly like I think this whole place should become, a resource center, Northampton Department of Public Resources. And if we're really going to look at the waste stream, it's got to be where it's easy for people. Now they're doing one-stop dumping, one-stop, everything in, what did you call it?
I'm one-stop unshopping.
So it basically everything, everybody's got used to separating, and something like this that can be an exhibit on a Saturday morning, something fun. It can be stuff for the artists to come once a week. It's local.
Not Saturday.
Is the site open at all on Sundays now?
And
The
the gate's open.
The gate is open. There's, I think there's one staff in the barns that's just kind of a, response. But
So
there's
would
no
that-
other.
Would
there's
that
no other
help
staff
with the
on site.
traffic in the site overuse issue to be open on Sunday?
But I guess I'm just curious, is it feels like we're making an argument that people come here anyways and it's one-stop unshopping. So they
I
would.
don't get that. How do you get one-stop unshop? Oh, the reverse of all the shopping.
So
Okay.
the transfer station would not be open on Sunday. It would just mean that, from my point of view, anyone in the community could use it because you wouldn't need a vehicle permit to have access on Sunday.
So
So-
the people would still be making a separate trip to come here on Sunday to do the reuse rather than being here while they're doing their disposal.
Mhm.
Could expanding the recycling on Sunday alleviate some of the traffic problems on Saturday?
It's possible, but
Has that been
the
considered?
Board of Public Works did consider having Sunday hours, but at the time they didn't think there was there was enough of a need in terms of serving the number of customers we have. And there is a problem that when the transfer station's open, you need a heavy machinery operator. And currently the main one already works 6 days a week. And there's really only one person, no, 2 people that can do that job. But so getting that kind of labor on overtime on Sundays would be an issue. We did determine that the residents would love having Sunday hours. I mean, that was not
How
kind
many
of
are
a
on
drawback.
On our mailing list so far. What's our starting base for this? No, it's like a campaign, I see it. You know, this is too stupid. To knock a building down like that is just, it's the exact opposite of what reuse is about. Because you take a look, it would cost $100,000 to pour cement piers, to pour girders, reinforced concrete girders like that thing is sitting on. The floor is dead level. They've got one place where they've got, I don't know, 15, 20-gallon drums stored high. The floor is you could put elephants on it, you know? And it was overbuilt by the trolley. The whole street could be called Renovation Road. The brick next to it could become a place, you know. Artists could get involved, take all those sloppy sheds and clean them up. Not much money. You can have crowd doing days, you know, habitat days sort of a thing. I don't know what the legalities are, but so I think if you take a look at it, I hope you'll come away.
I don't doubt that it might
Yeah.
have some value,
Well, it has more. It has a lot of
but
value.
what I can share with you is that my understanding that in the context of how this site is used right now, there's not support from the leadership to have that use happen.
I think that takes lobbying. If we passed a resolution, it's in the paper press release, reuse committee resolves to, however, try and renovate, repair, restore, and use for at its regular meeting, the committee resolves, there's a lot of in recycling, reduce, resolves to, and then move the powers that be, I would put as an insert, just to be civil with the powers that are, to renovate, restore, and repurpose the circa 1900 trolley building, I don't know the name of NoHo's first resource center. Resource I'm calling because there's more play in that. Locust Street facility, incorporated into the Locust Street facility, and we're seeking active and virtual community participation for this project, and zeroing on this building as the home of zero waste ethic. So, you know, you just want to give in because you got the word? I don't know. I'm not the word. The word can be changed.
I've sat on the Board of Public Works for a number of years.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is this facility here, there's been this conversation that's gone around and around and around.
Yeah. Well, now it needs to get to a finish line. You know, we need to resolve what we're going to do, or trying in the effort. You know.
You know, I have to say, one of the reasons that we started looking at Locust Street again was because David Narkowitz stopped by the January 5th event and hung out for a while. And he basically reaffirmed his support for something to happen on this site.
Yeah.
Because he felt that it was, just, it made sense.
And his
And
brother
so-
lives in San Francisco, who Karen is competing with here. You know?
So that's why we came back and looked at it, and in any case, I think that again, it's like the mayor was the one that said no to the Florence Community Center,
Mhm.
and you were railing against that.
Yeah, I was, because I felt like we needed a location.
Right.
And I've got to say that I understand and I appreciate and I support the concerns that the board leadership has about the operations on this site. It feels like it's not a good place for
Yeah.
it. I mean, I
think we're hitting the same kind of wall right now with this, that, you know, as the Florence Community Center, that there was a possibility, an opportunity, we talked about it, we didn't get a red light, and then we got a red light from the mayor. This time, the red light is coming from the director of the DPW, and I have to say, we're not gonna change his mind. That's
and the
what you're
director of
saying.
Central Services.
Well,
I
oh,
mean, there are two people at play there
about this building?
about the building, yeah.
How about if a few of
Well,
us
because
have a meeting?
according to their analysis, you know, $25,000 doesn't make sense to renovate a building that's gonna be demolished in 2, 3, 4 years. So, it's unfortunate, and I'm sorry that I got all of you excited about the possibility of that building. I was going forward on my best information for a while, and then the message came to me yesterday that it's not going to happen. So that's just, I think we have to recognize that when we get a no, it's a no. I don't think
Never good
that,
at that.
I still think we might look at moving the attendance shed out of that bay and having a reuse room open at the transfer station at all times. It wouldn't necessarily have to be staffed, because I think the attendants could do a pretty good job
I'm
of.
not sure which bay you mean, so you have to point it out.
Well, we can go out there,
Yeah.
but
I think there's support for moving around, if we can move around the existing space that we have and use it more effectively, I think there's support for that.
Mhm.
I just think that we should not think about expanding beyond the drive, the parking lot area footprint that we have access to.
Mhm.
I think that if we limit that and figure out, is there a way we can move it around, use it more effectively?
And we
I think
can-
there's support for
right,
that. But
and
to
then-
expand onto another part of the site, I just think is wrought with problems.
That's movement though, that in itself is movement, because there was an absolute no, not on this site, we cannot have any more people doing any more anything here. So I would say, yeah, let's do that.
But I
Let's
think we
go
can say
for
that, because what we're looking at is, one of the big discussions that we had at the Board of Public Works last week was the concern about the drop-off in customers here.
Mhm.
When the landfill closes and, people have to pay, we have some private competition. What's the actual stream of vehicles coming on? The number of permits is down significantly, and we expect that it might go down even further.
Mhm.
So the
Mm.
reality is that the use of the transfer station is diminishing.
Great.
So that gives us, I
Alan.
think, a little bit of flexibility to say, how can we use it more intensively for the people who are coming here?
Great.
That's
And-
the Allen property doing
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
basically. Because on a Saturday morning, the line of cars there,
Mm-hmm.
not that long ago, was,
You're
You know-
talking
you know
about
where
Deuce-
I'm-
What's that?
Just
Deuce-
on Route 10.
On
Yeah.
on
Route
5,
10.
Just,
510, just still in Northampton, or just
Yeah,
East
no,
Hampton?
it's Northampton.
It is Northampton. I mean, that's going gangbusters. That I thought was going to be the competition for this building.
And they're interested in doing reuse, so, I mean, yeah, they should be the competition, because we're not doing a good job of it.
And I think we still have to, I've asked Terry Masterson to look again at city property. And, with the landfill closing, I think we should look at that,
How can
drop
we-
off site
Yeah, I mean,
again.
what we've got up there, we've got scrap metal, white goods,
Bulky, like furniture and rugs.
bulk,
and
so
all that.
it's an ongoing rigid
Yard.
plastics.
Yep, yard and leaf waste. So
But no
that's,
reuse possibility there. Is there a reuse possibility there?
there's a large open shed there, and the compactors right now, well, there won't be recycling there. So, paper and bottles and cans, that whole, and trash, that whole area is going to be open. So,
And we don't have the truck traffic in and out because
Yeah.
no one will be dumping at the landfill anymore.
so,
Could we do larger items there and smaller items in the shed here?
It's possible, yeah, I would say so.
I mean, that's what I would encourage us to do, is to look at the existing spaces that we have here and at Glendale, and to figure out how can we develop a reuse plan to use it more effectively.
Well, reuse and this zero waste ideas,
Yes.
you know, that there's, but Peter's right in that the building does exist, you know, here, so there isn't really a good solid building there for, I'm just
At
torn, because
Glendale?
there's that open shed that's kind of got the mattresses and the television.
Mhm.
That's the only one, right? So that's not as necessarily solid and dry. You wouldn't want to put artist materials in there or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm all for, you know, keeping Glendale wide open for zero waste opportunities and reuse opportunities. So I guess all options look really good to me. I wouldn't wanna discount any of them.
Well, the question is looking at the bays that we have here, I mean, might that be an appropriate place to do the things that need to be kept?
Is there so little and kind of junk and
We
Yeah.
can clean them up. It's a way to start, it seems like.
I see a park here more than anything.
You see what?
A park,
A park?
yeah. Picnic benches, some
Resource park.
sculptures.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's only a headset that says it's got to be, you know, this sort of an industrial facility.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be a tram trolley depot, and that's where who knows the history, who came out. The Cities and Buildings, is that the same?
You mean the one down
Streets
the
and-
Mass
streets and
Department of
buildings?
Transportation building?
Yeah, just
What?
next one over.
Yeah.
The streets division you're talking about?
Who you said was in charge of
Oh,
it?
Rich Parcell.
Parcellity.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean he knows all the history, including of that
We
building.
actually met with him too.
Yeah, we met with him. He said, "Oh,
and-
it's slated for demolition." You know? Wrecking ball, then it's going to cost $85,000 to knock it down, and 15 to fix it. Take a look.
So
Before you go, I mean, just at least do take a look
I
at the
will
building.
take a look,
Good.
but
okay,
but
that's all I
you know,
care. You know,
there's a site plan in process that
Yeah.
I would suspect that's probably why it's coming down. It's because it's in a place where something else is going to be built around.
well, I'm happy to look at all of that. I mean, certainly don't want to knock the $21 million structure, or not 22 million, whatever it costs. You know? But here's there's concrete, even potentially for an addition to it, actually, on the other side, because you can put another slope roof with clerestory windows right up against it, and then you've already got bays to put stuff.
So do you want to go outside and take a look at the recycling center now?
sure.
Okay.
Oh, I like that you're calling it that.
That's what it says on it. I'm talking about the existing bays. I'm not talking
She's
about.
not talking- she's not talking
I'm not
about
talking about your new building that's slated
Yes.
for demolition.
Slated is not done. Yeah.
Styrofoam again, we could bag those and put them together into a roll-off and deliver them that way. So we wouldn't necessarily, and we wouldn't have to ship the styrofoam to Rhode Island, closer market. Anyway,
Oh, Karen, can you mention the numbers again of the, because this was
Oh.
on of the trees?
almost 2 tons of Christmas trees and 30 cubic yards of styrofoam and probably a cubic yard of pellet fuel bags.
A little more.
Well, maybe 1.5.
And the place that you were just, you said they were delivered to.
Gold Circuit in
And
Ludlow.
Do they do, and they do the bags or they do both?
They do both.
And what do they do with their styrofoam when they?
They're baling it. So I saw a bale that was probably about 4 feet by 3 feet by 5 feet, and that represented all the styrofoam that we collected. I mean, that's how much they can get into a compacted bale. So 30 cubic yards of styrofoam
And
put into a block.
And do they send it to Rhode Island? Or
No,
how
no,
does that-
they're marketing it. It's just a number 6 plastic.
And
So-
we get money for
They-
bringing it?
They do.
Right now, they're accepting it for free. If so, it would be the cost of transportation to get it there. So
And then, do you know who they sell it to?
no, but so anyway, I think the only comment I got about 2 things was the post office really messed up on some of the mailing because some people didn't get their postcard until after the event. So I got a few calls from people about that. Apparently the post office had a lot of carriers out sick, so things just didn't get done in a timely manner. It took more than a week for the postcards to get delivered.
I did get mine in time though.
So, actually, it took I should say it took up to 10 days for. The other thing is that I thought January 5th, which is exactly 12 days after Christmas, was going to be okay, but apparently people would have liked to have it a little bit later because they didn't want to feel rushed to take down
And
the
I
tree.
was thinking sooner. Isn't that interesting?
So, but
There is for next year.
We should do the dead tree toss thing. I like
Yeah.
that.
That was all 3 things on the same day, which I thought was cool in the paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, to make it fun. That's
Yeah,
part
we
of
should.
it.
Yeah, we should do some sort of goofy thing with those
Yeah.
no longer being used as Christmas tree trees.
actually, there were some beautiful trees that came in
Yeah.
that I would have taken home.
Yes.
No. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that was a very worthwhile event and people appreciated it. So and again, we lucked out on the weather. It was a sunny day, not too cold.
Can I envision for next year, what's the possibility if we get a big chipper there? And as they bring them in, they go into the chipper and they can buy a bag of pine mulch.
I
Or
like
they
that.
get a ticket for a bag of pine mulch right at the other end. It's just one process, not $50 an hour for the guy with the crusher and taking it somewhere else, and you know.
Yeah.
Well, there are some practical things about that, but we could get into that later.
We'll have time. I mean, not now, but I mean,
Yeah,
in a
it's
year.
just- Yeah.
I mean, I've had a guy on my property doing, like, I can't believe the size of the branches that go in there, just shoo, and it wasn't even that noisy. I mean, yeah, that's the one thing I thought, well, how do we do it where they're bringing it isn't quite so noisy, but, you know, work up somehow behind a wall or something. But then it's all done and they see the result and then they do what this suggested, you know, but they just didn't have the equipment. And then it starts to pay for itself.
I think it would be hard to bag the stuff the same day out of the truck, but maybe you could.
Then they get
you
a
could
coupon.
pre-shred Christmas trees that had come into the landfill, so that into the
Yeah.
recycling center at the
Yeah.
landfill,
Yeah,
so that they were available.
right.
Or you could bring your blue thing, put it under the chute. Okay, catch you later.
Yeah, that's great.
Move on.
Yeah.
For the March 9th planning, I think I need to just send out a draft of what I'm thinking about for that, because It's going to be different than the toy exchange. It's going to be, people are going to be pre-registered. The donors and the receivers, the people who are participating, are going to actually help with the organization of everything. Just think of like the thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of things that are coming in, clothing. So if somebody comes in with all the clothing from their 3-year-old and their 7-year-old, they're going to help us put it out onto the tables for those age-appropriate things, rather than us trying to read labels and sort everything.
They're not having their own booths. I was thinking a bit more of the
Yeah,
book
I
sales.
was thinking that too, but it makes more sense to have it organized by age. And also for equity, to have people who are donating a lot will be able to take more. So it's going to be kind of volume based. So they'll get kind of a when they come in, they'll if they have 3 bags, they're going to get 3 bags that they can fill and take out. And then it'll let from 11 to 12, the general public can come in, take everything they want. It'll be free for all, and then package everything else up at the end for Salvation Army. But
So per bag, as they bring in, how big is the bag?
For bags.
Blue bags or what?
well, actually, I just talked to a bag manufacturer who's going to donate the bags. So plastic bags. But so they'll be like bright yellow or something like that, and it'll be a quick analysis of how much they bring in, how much they can potentially take, or they can just say,
To like this.
I don't need 3 bags, just give me 1. So anyway, I'll send out the draft of that. We do have people signing up, but I'm gonna probably within the next couple of weeks, I'll ask everybody to start talking it up on Facebook, so we can get some activity.
What's that event called? Kids something?
Kids Stuff Exchange.
Kids Stuff Exchange, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, we're good. Thank you very much.
Just, Diana, that's the simplest reuse of something.
Adorable. I've done that with a glass bottle that had a brick in it.
Uh-huh.
So
So no sports equipment though. I think
No.
that's for this 9th event, right?
I wouldn't say that. Sports equipment is fine.
Wasn't there going to be a separate sports equipment thing
No.
with one of these? No.
No.
Can't keep track of these
No, it's
tiny
basically everything kids. So
Toys, clothes.
books, games, sporting equipment.
And I had mentioned that I was willing with Mary McCormick. Mary.
I'm sorry.
Until I get a list. Mary, who did our announcements when the toy thing opened.
Oh, Mary Clark.
Clark, to co-facilitate a toy team, which, as I had suggested in the
For the toy exchange.
yeah, so that there's like for every event there starts to be a team that you start bringing in folks who want to be either virtually involved, just suggestions over the via email, or a blog would be even better, so that there's a commentary section on everything, and so that it really starts getting that we're the facilitators for more people to come in and be involved, because I think it's the community involvement that will spread the ethos of repurposing, recycling,
That's
reducing.
one thing we got. I think 168 more emails on our list. So we're trying to build our email list.
Are things going out through the emails that are being left at the
Yes.
Facebook page?
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Yes. I'm really only checking it twice a week, but
Well,
that's
still,
that's
okay.
so more and more we're trying to move towards this electronic communication of people who are, rather than sending out
Yeah.
15,000 pieces of paper. So.
Yeah, still, but this is still getting out to people, so this is good. There are lots of people out there who are just still learning about
Yeah.
it and could get on
Ac-
board, the more they see it, the
Yeah.
more they'll, you know.
Actually, there was a woman at the January 5th event who approached me and said she loved the postcards so much that she's starting to do fundraising so we can do it again.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So she said, I'll get you the money one way or another.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
How about, where's it gonna be? I'm sorry, I don't have.
Oh, all the events are at
They're gonna
Smithville.
be, how about, can I do some sort of art thing inside?
Oh,
Take
yes.
part of the,
Absolutely.
cafeteria? Or
Yeah,
cafeteria?
because some people might, we're not gonna say no kids for this.
Right.
So some people might bring
Yeah,
kids.
because I can see doing something, I'm doing something else with Hilltown Families,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see her being really interested, Sienna, being really interested in doing
So I'll
something
give
there.
you a couple tables. two
Yeah,
tables.
yeah. Well, I'm going to see her Friday because we're doing a little workshop thing. So
Mhm.
I'll talk to her about. I mean, we'll kind of brainstorm it a little bit. But she had done that service learning event over at Bridge Street School in the end of November, where she had 6 stations, you know, of activities for that were making something for an organization, and she had to close her subscription to it because there were so many families who were interested in coming with their kids to
Wow.
work on this. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So-
So I can see her wanting to. You know, we could cook up something for that.
So can you envision how many? You know what the tables are like.
Right. No, but why don't I talk to her on Friday, and then I don't know if she's seen that space or not, but we could get in and see it and figure something out. But
Yeah, because so the participants, if they bring their kids, they might be there for an hour or 2
Yeah.
hours or.
right, come in and work on something. And, yeah.
And that could, since we're going to be emailing all the participants with details, we can tell them all about that.
Mhm.
And even, invite the kids.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so having kids there, the only thing that I'm going to be very careful about is exiting, because we want to make sure that kids don't exit with strangers. Or,
Oh,
kids
oh.
don't leave. That's my nightmare, is a lost kid.
Well, maybe the parents need to stay with the kids.
Well, the parents are going to have to be, if they're bringing their kids, they have to be
And
responsible.
her Boquilin in charge of all the kids in Northampton. It's her fault.
Yeah.
Pied Piper.
But I think we are going to have to make sure that we have some restrictions about, somebody at the exit,
Yeah.
an entrance and an exit, and we're careful that kids
Yeah.
aren't leaving or
Yeah.
being taken. I'm sorry, I'm
Well,
paranoid
I'll
about
ask.
that.
No, but I'll ask her how she did it there at that event.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
the kids came in with their parents or their grown-up person, and went around to the different tables
But it was
and
at night,
activities
and
with it.
they
And
wouldn't
it
have sent
was
your kids outside in the dark.
right, but I mean, it was a requirement that parents be there
Yeah,
with
but
the
you
kids.
can see
so.
that parents are going to be preoccupied.
Distracted, yes. Yeah, right. Side thing, they're filling their bags thing, and then come in and, but not use it as a babysitting. Well, not necessarily use it as a babysitting thing.
Well, after the toy thing, I can see if they all come in with kids, it would be a different atmosphere. It would be a different management
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
'Cause
But
kids
in
are,
this-
I want, yeah.
In this case, it's clothes. Kids aren't really that interested
Yeah.
in clothes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a princess costume.
Yes. Okay, so I think we're done with the agenda unless there's something else.
So, well, I'll bring it up next time, but basically be looking for a couple other co-facilitators for a toy team, like 3 at least, or 4 would be even better, to, like as a subgroup, to see how we can entice people to join, and using that particular mailing list that Jessica put together, and I think a couple others, where we got a lot of names and a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Going back to those people who had made some comments, they're likely.
You did a great job, by the way, of getting emails.
Yeah, it's a bulldog.
She was really
Our
nice
email
about
bulldog.
it. I mean, it was great. No, it really worked well.
She'd hold him by the ankles if they tried to get away.
Thank you. Anything else?
Not right now.